I know. I'll do a little chat about the motivation for this video once I've done the actual fix, because hopefully you're watching it because of the fix. So essentially this is a Lenovo IdeaPad, the IdeaPad 3. This is the Chromebook, and it's about how you replace the screen on it. I'm going to add the word properly to that, as I'll explain at the end. So the first thing is that you have to take the bezel off. Now the bezel itself is done with compression fittings and a bit of double-sided sticky tape. It's probably tested tape, so sticky tape is a bit of a disservice to it because tested tape is a bit special. The way you do that, I'm not going to show it, but the way you do that is you put your fingers under the side edges and then just gently wriggle and tease, and it will pop out. And you wriggle and tease your way around until you get to the bottom bit. So you have it so this is all loose here like this, and there is tape, double-sided tape going along there. I don't know if it's actual Tessa branded, but it is double-sided tape. It's the kind of tape that you put on and then you press to activate it. It isn't incredibly sticky, but it is nonetheless sticky. What you don't want to do is take a knife to it to slice it off. Don't do that. What you actually should do is, again, get your fingers underneath. Once you've got these edges out, you can get your and then gently work your way along and just tease it off. So it might take you 10 minutes to actually get the bezel off. And there are no screws to worry about. I wouldn't take, you don't need to use a spudger or anything like that, or a pick or anything like that, because the compression fittings just pop when you wriggle them. The only bit that I've already pointed out is this tape running along the bottom that glues the thick bit of the bezel onto the actual screen itself. Don't take a knife to that, just tease it, and the glue will just loosen and you'll be able to take it off. So take your time over it and you'll take it off in one piece. One thing I do want to mention, which other videos on this don't mention, is there's a little tiny magnet there on the bezel. I think that's to do with how well, I don't know what it's to do with, actually. Maybe you put it in the comments. My guess is two things. One, it just helps it close a little bit and gives a bit of a magnetic snap when the hinges close. And two, it might actually have a sort of be part of a sensor so that it knows when it's shut. But to be honest, I don't know. But it's there. So if you are taking the bezel off or replacing the bezel, remember that. Because it's magnetic, you might find that it sort of hides itself down there and gets tucked in there. So other videos on this don't cover that, so that's why I'm doing this one. I'll explain the rationale later, as I've said. So that's on the bezel. It comes off, no screws. You tease it off, tease it. Don't put a knife anywhere near it or a spudger anywhere near it. Just gently tease it off and it will come off. Remember that little magnet and you're all good. Now I think this is still on, isn't it? So I'll just press a few buttons and see what it does. I'm going to press and hold the power button anyway, just to make sure it is off. There's no power LED on at the side. I think that's the side with the LED on. See, there's an LED. Well, you can't see it because it's not on, but there's an LED. There's an LED there. So that should now be off. Now I'm going to talk about tools. For this particular job, you need a PH0 screwdriver, not a PH1. You need a PH0. I've got this little Wearer set. I'm not sponsored by Wearer, but I do like their tools, as you may have gathered by the fact they mention them quite a lot. They are very nice tools, and this is a PH00, PH0 and PH1 kit with some hex and flat blade and that sort of thing. So it's got a couple of torques as well. So that's quite a nice little kit that covers just about everything I need to do. So this requires a PH0, and that's because you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 screws there, which you may have noticed are sitting on this mat here so they don't get lost. So if you try and do this with the standard PH1 screwdriver, you will destroy the screws. It has to be a PH0, so make sure you've got that in your toolkit. The other thing I'm using is this, which is a blade, but it's a plastic blade, and you get I've got a little bag of spare blades because it blunts quite quickly. So the actual blade itself, you can cut if you press hard enough, but it's not, you know, because it's plastic, it deforms. So it's a plastic bladed blade. And what I'm going to do is, I've already undone the screws, so I'm just going to flip the thing forwards a little bit and lift the screen and flip it down, and you can see that the screen has got a little bit of tape on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little plastic blade and I'm just going to shove it underneath it and very gently just work my way, slip them, but it's fine because it's plastic, and I'm just going to work my way like that and just tease that up high enough so that I can grab it with my fingers. So that should be enough now. So I just grab it and I'll go against the way the socket is so that I don't damage the cable, and that's it there. Now there is on this one, there is a tiny little bar that is holding it in. So I'm going to get my nail underneath and just flip that up, and then it should just come out. Give it a pull, a gentle pull, and it teases out. And I don't know how well you saw that because that's probably quite in front of it. So there's the actual socket there. I'll try and show you, I don't know how well you can see that. You probably can't see it very well at all, but I'll lift it up. I've got my lens on the GoPro so it focuses on things a bit closer. So what you can see is there's a little bar. See that bar there? You flick that bar up, and then that's like a retention bar that holds the thing in. You flip that up and then you can just gently tease it out. So remember to do that, otherwise it ain't coming out. So you've got to lift the sticky tape up, flick the bar up, give it a wiggle, and then it comes out. Now let's get the replacement screen, which is this one here. I don't sell screens, so I'm not obviously going to put any links in the description, but I will give you a couple of tips. This is the original screen, which is faulty, and you can see there's actually a part number written on it there. See that part number? That's what you search for. Search for the part number. Don't search for, you know, Lenovo Chromebook screen, because you're going to get all sorts of different results, hundreds of results, maybe even thousands of results, because they've made a few of these sort of things of different models with different screen sizes. And the trick is to actually search for the part number itself. And then once you search for that, you will get the right part, which is hopefully what I've got here. So here's the replacement screen, which I'm just going to put into place. I will take my glasses off for this because this is a bit fiddly. So there's the cable there. So I'm going to bring it in a little bit closer just so that I can fit it in. And I'm going to just tease that up out of there because it might make it easier. And try not to get my fingers or anything. Just get it into the socket. Now, I'm talking at the same time, and I have done this several times before, but I'm still taking my time over it. And it will take a bit of time, and I will fudge it because I'm talking. I'm not really concentrating on doing it, you know, because I'm talking at the same time. So I've got it lined up. I'll just give it a little push, or even a pull, because I can pull on that tape, and that's it in. I'll push that little bar down, and it made a little satisfying click sound, which you probably didn't hear, but I did. And then I'm just going to lay the tape back down, and that's it in. So I was talking, you might notice that I stopped talking at certain points because I was concentrating. It's not about, it's not this is my rifle, there are many like it, but this one is mine. It's not a ritual, it's not a practice. Doing it quickly is that sort of showing off that, oh, look at me, I'm a pro. That's just nonsense. Just take your time over it, because I do. Yeah, when I'm repairing things, often because I don't sell computers that are ones, you know, I don't sell the same brand all the time. The computers I see are all different anyway. So every time I see a computer, like this laptop, I'd never seen one of these before. Every time I see one, it's different. So if all I did was repair this particular model, then obviously I could do it in a nanosecond. So bear that in mind when you think, oh, I can't possibly do it. And yeah, so watch out for these sort of so-called professionals, because they are professional, but that you get professional by repetition. So I'm now going to put that back in, and I'm going to put the cable, slide the cable back in as well. I think the cable went underneath that one. And then I'm just going to sit the screen roughly in where it's supposed to be. And it sort of fits in, and that's the cable, like that. So I'm now going to get the screwdriver and put that cable back to where it was, like that. It was tucked away down there, I think. I will check that though. Okay, so that's it in place. So I'm just going to turn it on and we'll see if it works. Fingers crossed. Cover that up. Ooh, that's a good start. And there we are. The screen is repaired. So what's left now is to put it back together again. So I'll just power it down. Now I can see what I'm doing. I can actually click the button properly. So I'll shut it down and I'll get my screwdriver and we'll fit the screws back in. Now what I'm not doing is tightening them up fully until they're all in. Because if you tighten it up fully and it's not lined up everywhere, you just have to untighten them again. So I'm going to spin it round, which is going to spoil your view a little bit. And then just fit that one in there, like that. So obviously the screw holes are now lined up, so now it's okay for me to tighten them up. And while I'm there, because this is another good idea as well, while you're there, while you've got the bezel off and you've got access to these hinge screws, it's a good idea just to check those hinge screws are tight, because the constant opening and closing of the screen can loosen them a little bit. I'm not going to take it apart. I think the other video on this, or one of the videos on this, has it, you know, as a battery replacement. I'm focusing entirely on the screen. So now I'm going to put the bezel back on. Now with this here, it's still got the tape on there and there's still a bit of tackiness to it, so I'm not going to replace the tape. I'm just going to leave it as it is. Obviously if I was doing this, yeah, if the tape was still, if the tape was destroyed, then I'd need to replace it. So one advantage of gently teasing it off and not hacking it to bits with a knife, one advantage of gently teasing it off is that you pretty much maintain the integrity of the tape, because the tape is actually quite strong and the glue does, you can tease it off. So I'm going to start by putting it in at the bottom, because obviously if you put it in at the top you won't be able to get it you won't be able to get the bottom in, and then I'm just going to line it up and then just press it. Because they're compression fittings, they just go in, and you might have to remember to do something. So what haven't I done? I'm going to leave this bit in the video. I haven't taken off the film that's on the screen, have I? Numpty. But that's worked out rather well, because at the start of the video I didn't show the bezel coming off, so now I can show the bezel coming off. So you just put your fingers underneath there, get your fingernail there, and then just gently sort of just tease it. It's a bit awkward because it might not want to come out, but once you've got your nail under there, you can pop the compression fittings and let it, and it will come out. It says here, and it's not doing it, but it will do it if I get it in the right place. So that's that one done. So you just have to sort of just gently tease it. You can't really see what I'm doing, but I'm just putting my finger underneath and lifting it up. The good news is that because I've got still left the film on the screen is actually nice and tidy. So there's there. Now let's see if I can get the screen film off. That's it there. Very satisfying. I could probably have done it without taking the bezel off, actually, because it hasn't got, you know, it's not overlapping too much. But anyway, it doesn't matter. That was quite fortuitous. That was the universe saying, Nick do the job properly and then punishing me for not doing my job properly. I should have shown the bezel coming off first. So that just peels off like that. And I'm actually going to, I'll put that back on the screen once the bezel's on, because it's just kind of a nice touch to leave it on. And then we'll put the bezel back on. So I'm just going to put in the bottom first, line it up roughly, and then just press it. And you can see it just goes on. Because they're compression fittings. They're not, you know, there's no screws. And when I get to the bottom bit, I'm just going to run my finger along very slowly just to make it so the glue's lined up. That one hasn't gone in very well, so we just have to, remember, I'm not using any excessive force, I'm just sort of poking it to tease it, just to make sure that it's gone in. And you get these crunchy cracking sounds as the compression fittings fit in. So now I'm going to check the bottom to make sure everything's sort of flush, and that looks like it's gone in perfectly, and on that side has it gone in. And I'm just going to feel my way around the edge just to make sure there's no strange bumps. And I'm going to give it another visual inspection, sound quite thorough, another visual inspection to make sure everything is, you know, symmetrical and there's nothing obvious that's been missed out. And I'll hold the laptop down and then just run my finger along there, because that's where the glue was. So I'll just gently push that. A little bit of heat, so I'm just going to give it a rub. A little bit of heat, even if it's a tiny amount, will just wake the glue up a little bit. Although I doubt the heat's got any chance of conducting through that thick plastic. Anyway, right, let's power it up and see if it works. So I have pressed the power button. And we have a repaired laptop, like that. So what I want to do is, that's the repair over with. So I will just shut it down now. So at the start of the video, I said that I'd have a little discussion about the rationale of this. And the rationale is that whenever if I've got a repair, like this particular laptop, if I've got a repair, then what I'll do is I'll think, how am I going to do the repair? And I'm going to think, has anyone else made a video on it? And if they have, I'll give it a quick watch and then think, well, okay, do I need to make one? Do I find that video easy to follow? Is it any good? Did it help me with what I want to do? And if it doesn't, then I'll make my own video. So that's why I made the video about this, because there are videos about this laptop, about changing the screen on this laptop, but they don't cover that bit with the magnet, and they get a bit heavy-handed with the slicing off the glue. So I thought, oh no. So that's why I've made this video. So if I can make a video that improves and makes it easier for people to do and doesn't scare them, then that's what I'll do. This stuff is Goo Gone, by the way. I'm going to do a separate video very soon about all the tools that I use. And if you want to do this as a hobby, or actually not necessarily start a business, but you can start a business if you want. But if you want to do it as a hobby, then I'll tell you what tools to get and what is a good tool and what is a bad tool, and whether it's worth spending colossal amounts of money or not, depending on how serious you want to do it or how well you want to do it. What I find is that Goo Gone does that. So Goo Gone is pretty incredible. It also is very good at taking the glue off. So with that glue on the bezel, if that glue didn't come off, then a tiny amount of Goo Gone just running along that edge, that would, not too much, because obviously it's a liquid, then that actually softens the glue and destroys the glue. Also, it evaporates. And I'll shut up about this. This sort of stuff is going to be in the video about tools. Yeah, if you've got any thoughts about this video, then put them in the comments. Liking and subscribing is appreciated. If you've seen the other video and this video's better, then say so, because I think it's better. I think it's going to help you change the laptop screen yourself. And hopefully with a few tips you can actually do it without breaking anything, which is obviously what we all want, isn't it? If you can repair it yourself, you haven't got to pay someone else to do it. I don't make a huge amount of money from these videos. I just quite like doing them. But if you do want to give me some money, I won't say no. Anyway, usual thing, liking and subscribing is appreciated. And as always, thanks for watching.